Hey everyone, my name is Kris Barocsi. Welcome to Gear Corner. Today, I want to figure out how the brand new Friedman IRX Cube preamp and IR loader sounds with a Strat, with P90s, how it takes overdrive pedals, and even though it's not made for that, I want to know how it sounds as a multi-channel overdrive pedal in front of a clean amp. Obviously the IRX does so much. I made a video on it with my buddy Guillaume on the Thomann Guitars and Basses channel. I'll put the link right here so you'll hear it with clean, low gain, high gain with my Les Paul with a T-style, and we used it straight like into the interface and also as a preamp. So we went from the IRX into the Rev D20s effects return in the effects loop, so we bypassed the preamp of the amp and used the IRX as a preamp and the power amp of the Rev, and it sounded amazing. It does so much, MIDI and all those things. Channel 2 is definitely a bit more smooth, which fits perfectly to more gainy sounds, and channel 1 has all the sparkle that you want from like a clean or a slightly overdriven guitar sound, so you have more sparkle, more of that really glassy tone, or whatever you want to call it. Now before I swap guitars, let's go through the channels and the options with the Strat. First I'll play channel 1 without the boost, then I'll turn on the boost for some mild drive, and then go over to channel 2 and see what the knobs do and how it sounds. And that was with the little tight switch off. The second thing I wanted to do is to check out the IRX with some P90s. These are Mojo Tone P90s, really nice, sort of lower output P90s, very open sounding. These are really good examples of great P90s. So let's see how the channels react. Now let's test what I am most excited about. This is going to be the Friedman IRX being used after a pedal board for all those pedal lovers who want to stick to using those specific drive pedals and use the IRX as an amp substitute. The IRX is not made to be in front of a clean amplifier. It's not an overdrive pedal at all. It's a preamp. It has a different voicing, different output, different everything. I just want to check out if it even works and if you can also use it as an overdrive pedal. Well, like a 2-channel plus boost overdrive pedal. What I'm doing right now is going with the Strat into the IRX's input, then from the send effects send, I'm going into the Tone King Imperial Mark II head. Why am I using the send instead of the output? The output always has the IR sounds, like the cab simulation going on. I do not want that. So the way you connect the IRX to an amplifier, normally to an amplifier's effects return to go straight into the power amp, is using the send on the IRX. Okay. I had to go nuts with the EQs on both channels, of course, but it works. It works. That's crazy. I was not expecting this to sound any natural, and let's be honest, it's a little bit over EQ'd for a simple reason. This should not go into a clean amp's input. This should go into the return, so straight to the power amp of that amplifier. The way Dave Friedman made the IRX is literally taking a Friedman preamp and tweak it to work in a box like this and put the IRs and the MIDI control and everything on top of that, plus the boost. That means that you actually have two preamp tubes in there. It is a preamp. It's not like a preamp style pedal or on whatever circuit with a tube on top just to make it sound a little different than if there was no tube. It is literally a high voltage double 12AX7 preamp. And now my thoughts and impressions of the IRX. As told at the beginning of the video, I really enjoy playing it, and that's not something I can tell all the time. I almost always love what I hear when I'm playing these amp simulations, but it's not very often the case that I am fully okay with not turning on one of my amps instead. It's crazy how well it takes pedals. That's something I was looking forward to figure out, because normally that's where you can tell which is the amp and which is the amp simulation. The way a preamp reacts to overdrive pedals especially, or fuzzes, or all those clipping circuits that change everything that goes into the preamp, in this case into the IRX. That is a big thing, and the IRX reacts to my favorite pedals that I use all the time the same way as how I would expect an amp, like an actual big amp, to react. Amazing natural sound, good dynamics, reacts to the guitar picking or the volume pot setting or the pickup positions, doesn't sound unnatural at all. So this is definitely a clear recommendation for those people who love pedals and are looking for an amp alternative. And altogether, the IRX experience is, I think, the most full package out of all of these sort of amp alternative solutions. There's some stuff that will sound amazing but lack some features. For example, don't offer IRs, not at all, especially not customizable, where on this, you have 3 slots, you have 3 pre-selected IRs that Dave wanted to have in there, but you can change them if you want to use your own ones. Also MIDI controllable, etc. So it is really versatile, but most importantly, it does sound 100% like an actual amp, and not just sound, but also feel like a real tube amp. And that is not something that all of these will offer. A lot of them will not even get close. So yeah, I am very much in love with this, and I'm looking forward to implementing this in my rig whenever I just, I don't know, want to play something, practice something midnight. I don't necessarily have the option of cranking those things behind me. So I will definitely have this on my desk and see how I start using it and how it gets incorporated in my studio setup. Let me know in the comments below how you would use something like this, like these amp-less solutions, amp substitutes. For example, the IRX, like how would you use this mainly? See you down there in the comments below, and see you in the next video next week. Bye-bye.